Thanks for watching my YouTube channel. Please hit the subscribe button if you want to see more works and progresses of artwork. This one's not going to have any music. It's just going to have voiceover, so if you want to turn your tunes up and turn me down, go right ahead for that. This one's actually an art trade for Azzy Oblivion. I'll show you her half of the art trade at the end of the video. So she sent me this GIF that was 10 frames and I can flip horizontally 5 frames. So I didn't think it was too much, but after redoing and doing these frames over and over again, I bet you can see that I get a little hasty near the end. I've already worked 10 hours on this thing and I just wanted to get it done. Some things I really wish I spent a little bit more time on, or I wish I had more time to work on. To make things a little bit more more consistent, because we have a little bit of inconsistencies in here, like the placements of facial markings, and it was just really hard to make sure that everything matched up perfectly. As you can see here, is I accidentally have the frames going backwards. That's how it should be going forwards, but when I put it in the GIF maker, you see her hands are going up instead of down. So I just went in a little bit closer, and I edited the arms here so that her arms were just a little shorter and it didn't jump so far outwards, so it didn't look like she was punching her arms out. Her arms were supposed to be punching outwards for that, but since I did it backwards, and I couldn't just reverse the frames because the tail was already animated at that point, and I would have had to redo the entire tail. So I do a little bit of fixes here, and I try to fix the head so that the hood wasn't bouncing around so much. I didn't like that. When I went back in with the liner, and I wasn't paying attention at the sketches enough, but now that I've watched this a few times, I realized that the head really does shrink here. If you see, it's like really big, and it shrinks like literally so much smaller. And it's really noticeable when it's going fast, but at the same time, it's not that big of a deal. I mean, I think it still looks really nice. I really feel like this would have worked a lot better if I was able to actually view the frames I was animating before I compiled them into FlipaClip. Because if you see what I'm doing here, is I'm doing this entirely on my phone, and I have a separate layer for the colors and then a separate layer on top for the line art. And to flip between 4 layers to turn off 2 and then turn on the other 2, it simply isn't fast enough to see what the consistency of my line art and my animation between 2 or 3 different frames. So you can see here that the knees actually come out pretty bad. See how much they jump around? They're just like flashing. So I went back and I was just like, well, I can't be doing this with all of my markings, so I'm just going to make sure that these ones are going to be alright. Because they were really jumpy and flashy. So I went over here and I fixed all the knees. Now I'm adding the red markings in, and they're kind of like, I tried to at first start drawing them, and I realized these are all going to just be wonky and grow in size and stuff if I don't copy and paste them. And by copying and pasting them, I kind of made it look like the head wasn't shrinking as much, because if I was to draw them, the head was definitely shrinking a lot. I didn't get the pentagram to bounce like I wanted it to, and I feel like the main reason why is because I didn't want to spend the extra hour to make sure these markings weren't bouncing around as much as they were. I spent a lot of time copying and pasting and warping and stretching and making sure that they were all like pretty consistent, but they still kind of bounce around. Here I have a close-up of me like fixing the eyes. I ended up just using one drawing and warping it around for every frame instead of making a dripping effect like I wanted to, because I didn't think it was going to be noticeable, and I might have even made it really too messy. I just wanted to do like a white outline so it looked like she was a sticker and I could put her on a background. I didn't realize that I couldn't make a transparent background on FlipaClip, so I just used a black one, and I sent all the PNG files so that the person I made it for could just make her own. The only thing on this character that isn't symmetrical is your pupils, so I did zoom in on the last frame when I was flipping them horizontally to make sure that they weren't symmetrical. So yeah, even though I traced it, this is at least 10 hours worth of work, plus all the editing and compiling it into FlipaClip and such. Okay, now I'm going to show you what she drew me. I know, right? It's so good. Let me just gush over this for a second. This is a picture for Tony. It was his birthday last week, and I just wanted to make sure he got something nice. And I'm so glad that I put all this effort into this art trade because, oh my god, this is so good. The art's by Azzy Oblivion. I'll put her links in the description if you want to go check her art out. Really great stuff. Thanks so much, guys, for watching, and please subscribe.